Finance Committee meeting, 2026 budget. Tonight we have an agenda which includes the review of budgets from Treasurer Collector, Town Clerk, Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning Board, Conservation Commission, Board of Assessors, Animal Control, and Agricultural Commission. We will start the meeting with a review of the Treasurer Collector budget. And Amy is here to speak.
Well, that's a minute.
Hello?
Where is that? You might want to.
Okay, that is GG1. No, sorry, hold on. No, it's the general government 3.
Oh, sorry.
We need to call a select board meeting to order.
Yeah, sorry.
Hold on a minute. We have to jump over to the select board.
Joyce, if you want to call the select board meeting to order.
Okay, is Julie not here?
No,
Okay, then I'd like to call this meeting of the Whately Select Board to order. We have no agenda and we turn it over to the Finance Committee. At least they have an agenda.
It helps. Okay, so we're back again. Has everyone found the budget? Okay, I'm sorry, it's VG3. That's town
no,
clerk.
that's not part.
No, we want
We want GG6.
GG6, yeah.
GG6. Yes, we do. It's happened every year. Sure. Okay, treasurer collector. So the treasurer collector, as we see it right now, and we always go to the bottom line. And we look at the bottom line and the treasurer collector, 2026. And her budget is asking for $118,773 for an increase of $4,580, percentage 4.01%. So we turn it to Amy to give us an explanation.
So there's a few increases in my general expenses this year, or for fiscal year 26. One of them, as you can see, is office supplies. I'm looking to purchase a new computer along with a wireless printer for my office and for the assistant treasurer collector to utilize also. There's also been an increase in mileage and meetings. I would like to attend some different treasurer collector meetings in fiscal year 26 along with my assistant treasurer collector. So that is going to reflect an increase. I feel it's important for both of us to continue educating ourselves in the treasurer collector field. So there you will see those increases. I think that's really about it for the increases. Besides, our OPEB program has increased a little bit by $150. It went from $750 for fiscal year 25 to $900 for fiscal year 26, which I think is just natural inflation that we've been seeing. Same with our employment posters, which I am required to have by the state, which are hung up in our kitchen, if you're ever interested in looking at those. Those did increase about $200 from fiscal year 25 to 26. And I think that's about it to where I think the largest expense is the office supplies, just the computer and printer purchase, which was kind of just a guess with, I'm hoping it will probably come in significantly less than that, but I put it in there just as a benchmark.
What are the bonds?
Bonds are to make sure that I don't run away with the town's money. Also with our
So they had to
assistant-
double it up because you're getting
So-
PC.
Unfortunately, in the past, for bonds, they used to just bond of the position, which was treasurer collector. Now they've separated them and they're charging us for each. So I'm bonded for treasurer, I'm bonded for collector, and there's 2 separate fees for each. Same with the assistant treasurer collector, Maureen Nichols. We're also getting charged 1 for each for her. They did change that last fiscal year.
So were those in prior years in different categories and these are being consolidated?
No, so in prior years, they would only charge us for one bond for the treasurer and collector position. Yeah, now they're charging us for two.
Amy, what is the OPEB?
Other public employee, liabilities.
Post-employment benefits.
Post-employment benefits. So, we're trying to prepare ourselves for that liability for when we have retirements coming,
Yep.
that we can fund their, insurance.
Because it's been 900 all along, and it went down 750 last year. Back into 900.
So this is actually, what we have is an actuary who, assesses the risk.
Okay.
And our auditors, prefer that there's an actuarial report every fiscal year done to make sure that we are where we're supposed to be with funding that liability.
Cool.
Do we have any further questions for Amy? Dan?
No questions.
Good question.
No, is there anything in here for salary increases?
No, there's no salary increase. Right now, I know that we are, go ahead. Pete.
Yeah, we handle the salary separate. That's done later based on personnel committee and recommendations. So all of the departments have to submit their budgets at level funding for salary, and then we handle it separately.
It does come back around though to the finance committee,
Yes.
in either form of a COLA or a salary increase. So you will see that. It's just not in this budget right now.
I may have missed it, but you already explained collector support. Comp. That's the 9,000.
Oh, that's our billing software for collectors. So that is my Vadar program that we pay an annual fee for, which produces all of our tax bills and it reconciles accounts and
Okay.
holds our tax information.
Very good. Anyone else? Questions? No? As you know, this is not something that we vote on here. We wait until all the budgets have been looked at and we make decisions then as to whether we can fund the budgets entirely or if we have to make other recommendations. Okay, but that's not done here today. Are we good? Everybody good? Amy, you all set?
All set to move on.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in.
Well, no,
Oh,
she's
no,
got-
I'm sorry, I
she's
have
got
like 7 or 8 other
Oh.
budgets. Yeah, sorry. All set with this one.
Hey,
Uh,
Jess, hey, Jess, we won't be out.
Go back to
by
this.
eight.
Oh, no, don't worry.
Yeah, sorry. So
Sorry.
we can move on to GG7, which I think should be the next one
All right,
for you guys.
yeah, right.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So this one, you're gonna see a significant increase from fiscal year 25 to 26, $10,000. So there's a few different reasons as to why there's this increase. Tax title laws changed November 1st of 2024. I am moving forward with 4 tax title accounts, hopefully in fiscal year 26, which is vacant land on Westbrook Road. Right now, they are in land court and judgment, AKA title to the property, should be passed to the town within the next 6 to 8 months. With the new tax title laws, it's going to be a significant expense on the town for us to bring it all the way to auction to where it needs to go. There's multiple notifications going out to the previous owners. There's gonna be newspaper ads, there's gonna be realtors involved. Unfortunately, it's all new law that came into effect. However, that being said, these are, my understanding as of right now, they are buildable lots. There are 4 of them, and I'd love to get them back onto our tax rolls. So this is something I need to pursue and I want to pursue. Along with, we have a tax title attorney who will be somewhat assisting me throughout all of it. The good thing with that, well, let me back up a little bit. Some of the fees that the tax title attorney will be applied to these parcels, which will hopefully at the sale of the parcel will be paid off then and won't be such a tough expense for the town. But this is something that will hopefully be taken care of in fiscal year 26.
So that money's inside of the 20K?
No, so yes, excuse me, yes, I'm hoping that I can do all of this for these 4 parcels for $20,000, yes.
For the
Or
extra 10.
give or take, yes, and I mean, if they do go to auction or they go to a realtor and they're buildable lots and they're all more than an acre, I think the town would do significantly well selling them and putting them back on the tax rolls.
Yes, that's just a good question. So like, if it goes to that far and town does sell that, do we get to recoup this money?
Not all of
Does it
it.
Add in the price of the lot, does it get added to it, or does it just come out of our pockets from the lot?
So the town, any profit, as of November 1st, 2024, any profit would go back to the previous owners. Okay, so say that the expense of selling the property was $100,000.
Okay,
We sold them for $150,000. $50,000 would have to go back to the previous owners.
okay.
That's as of right now. There's a lot of,
So the
You know-
town gets reimbursed the back taxes?
yes,
And.
yep, and
whatever
any
costs-
additional fees.
Any of these fees?
Yep, yep. Though these laws can change, takes a little while. They are being fought right now. Not a lot of cities and towns are happy with the new changes.
I've heard
So-
horror stories of little ladies that miss a small tax bill and they tell her, take her property and keep all the money.
Yeah,
I
so
see the other side of it.
let's hope, yeah. We'll
Any
see.
sense of what the recoup will be on those back taxes? for each one?
I
The
think
aggregate?
right now, each parcel is, I wanna say a little around like 15,000 each, I would say.
I'm just curious, what percentage does the town collect in a year for taxes? Do we collect 95% of all the tax bills sent out? Do we, just people that pay that much?
So I think it might be easier if I answer it this way.
Okay.
For fiscal year 25,
Yeah.
I leaned 8 properties.
On a phone?
Excuse me, fiscal year 24, I leaned 8 properties. So that would mean that 8 taxpayers didn't pay their fiscal year 24 taxes.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
Okay.
How long do they have?
Um, so I do it fairly quickly because of a timeline in my head. So fiscal year ends June 30th of say 2024. I start notifications in September and I lien in October. Liens aren't really as scary as they sound. I mean, these taxpayers get notifications after notification. And really it's more or less, I would feel like it's a discussion starter, like, you know, you now have a lien, this is more serious, please contact me. We can set up payment plans, we can do multiple different things. Land court is very slow to move forward with any property that's occupied. So we don't tend to try to move those forward quickly. It's more of a headache to try this.
So these 4 lots, how long have they? How long has it been since?
I want to
tax-
say 2015, maybe a little
wow.
bit, maybe 2017. But land court, fell behind a little bit when COVID hit. Things kind of came to a halt. And also, if it's not a public safety hazard to the town, it doesn't move quickly in land court. So they see vacant land, it's just kind of gonna go to the end of the list. However, it's been moving forward, so. I do foresee this happening in that way.
Did you say this was on Westbrook?
This is on Westbrook Road, yes.
When does non-payment trigger a lien?
So. If you haven't paid so for fiscal year 24, if you didn't pay, say any quarter tax, if it was 4th quarter or 3rd quarter, I can go ahead and put a lien on the property if you didn't pay. There's multiple efforts I do before that. But I do try to, secure the town's, taxes revenue, yeah. And that's a way you only have a certain point. You have about 3 years. It can get a little questionable when ownership changes hands and I didn't lien something yet. It's better to move forward, have it placed on, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, good.
Good.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay, so we can move on to GG8. Yep. So for payroll services, it did increase a bit. We use Harper's Payroll. They prepare our W-2s and also take care of our ACH reporting, or excuse me, ACA reporting, which is the Affordable Care Act. So there, as just like everything, it did increase a little bit for their payroll services, so I reflected that, which is around a $1,300 increase.
Question, are we demanding more of them?
No,
Who takes a 30% increase?
we are not I am not getting anything different than I got last fiscal year.
Really?
Yep.
In 2024, Paul, it was 5660, so it went down to 25, it's right back up.
Well,
24
yeah, it did.
expenditures.
I just. 1 year pop.
But it went
Wait
down.
till we get to group health insurance.
It went down.
Go there.
I know, yeah, so it is, okay, so we can move on from there. So, if we go to DS1, which is debt service.
That's tab 14.
There it is.
So this one, I think you guys will be pleasantly happy with. Long-term debt, the town does have long-term debt, but it's factored into the water department budget. Okay, which is the Clean Water Trust for the Magnies. We have 20 years with that. We're in year 4 or 5. I can't touch on that really too much more. I think it would be appropriate for the water department to explain in detail more of that, since I don't have that information in front of me, but we do have that long-term debt. Short-term debt, we don't have any. We paid everything off in fiscal year 25. The excavator and wood chipper lease were paid off. So we have no short-term debt this time. Temporary loan interest is level funded. I did keep it at 1,000. That's if we do need to take anything out for fiscal year 26. We have that $1,000 to be able to pay for the interest of that loan. So that is debt service.
Very good. Any questions concerning debt service? Okay,
Go to tab 11.
11.
And it should be IB2. Oh, you know what? It might start with IB1.
That's IB2.
It's IB2, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
So I'm not quite sure where to begin here, but I'm just gonna lay it out. Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust has presented us with an 18% premium increase for fiscal year 26. You know, it's across the board with this increase. I do have emails out to GIC and Maya for quoting for our town's insurance to see, you know, what the difference is, what they can offer. I did hear that GIC had a 10% increase for fiscal year 26. No one's very happy with this increase that are involved with Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. They are blaming some of this on GLP-1 weight loss drugs. They're blaming some of it on inflation. It's gonna be a pretty big hit for the town and the town's employees who utilize the health insurance. I mean, we have 31 active employee, as of February 2025, we have 31 active employee plans and 2 retiree plans who utilize Blue Cross Blue Shield HMO and not the Medics plan. Out of those 31 active plans, 16 plans are single plans, which 7 are town employees, 7 are Whately Elementary School employees, and 2 are retirees. For employee plus 1 plan, we have 5 plans. 1 is a town employee and 4 are Whately Elementary School employees. And then for family plans, we have 11, 2 are town employees and 9 are Whately Elementary School employees. I did reach out to Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust to see how other towns are handling this 18% increase. They weren't very helpful, so I reached out to the surrounding towns who I'm friendly with to see how they're handling. Deerfield is gonna have a very difficult time with this increase. They are not planning on leaving Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. They do feel that Blue Cross Blue Shield offers great coverage. Sunderland pays 50% of their health insurance for town employees. We pay 75-25 for HMO plan. For PPO plan, we pay 70%, the town employee pays 30%. For retirees, we pay 50%. We do not insure their spouses. Something to think about. I'm just letting you know what other places do. I will come back if needed to let you know what GIC and Maya says. I considered doing a doodle poll with town employees, including the elementary school, to see if they like their coverage with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I hate to make this decision for these 32 employees and not know situations that they're in where Blue Cross Blue Shield is helping them.
How much does Deerfield cover for the employee?
I think it's similar to a 75-25.
Yeah,
And
course,
70-30. Yeah,
And then-
Sunderland's kind of the oddball that
It
does that
is.
50. It's grayer, that.
Conway is lower than us right now, but they've
Yeah.
also been looking at possibly doing 100%, but that was before they knew about the increase.
Yeah,
What's the timing for the payment of the money?
so the way this works, is it's worked, monthly. We get a monthly invoice from Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. I take the, health insurance deduction out of payroll. And then we pay the rest every month to Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust with these different calculations I have to do to show what the town's 75% is versus what the town employees 25% is.
So this would start July 1st.
This is July 1st.
Would you be able to provide us, at some point with a breakdown so that we can associate, the dollar cost of each plan based on employees or retired, whether employees for the town, the school, or retirees, and what the correlation is?
I can give you numbers right now if you'd like. This is starting July 1st of 2025. A single plan is going to be $839. The town's contribution per month is $629.25.
$629.
25 per plan for a single plan.
Okay.
I can keep going. There's employee plus one and there's family plan.
Yep.
Okay, employee plus one.
Yep.
The total monthly premium is $19.53.
Yep.
The town monthly 75% is $1464.75.
Yep.
The family plan is $2,407. Wait, the town's monthly payment will be $2,013.
Okay.
Now, you could obviously multiply that by the numbers I provided earlier with
Okay,
who,
could you-
how many.
And what are those numbers again? There are 31 employees.
So there's 31, yes, so let's stick with the 31 active employees.
Okay.
14 of them are on single plans.
Yep.
I had 16.
You did, but 2 of them are retirees, so I don't think we should, that's 50, it's a little bit of a different percentage that we give. 5 plans are employee plus one. Family plan, we have 11.
These figures, are these the figures you're paying now with the new?
These are the new
These
figures
are
for
the new-
fiscal year 26, yeah.
And what, you said the increase was due to more,
Well, they're saying the GLP-1 weight loss drugs
Go.
have has added to this premium increase. They're saying that the inflation. However, if you look at Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust record of percentage increases. Last year, we did have an 8% increase. A few years before that, there was 0%. Unfortunately, I feel like some of this is poor management, that we probably never have a 0%. I feel that, instead of getting hit with 18, should have just kept filling the bucket. And this, unfortunately, now we're here at 18%.
Is that 18 spread equally across the 3 different levels of plans? Single plus one family?
I would
Things
assume
going up.
so. I would assume that every plan went up. Well, I could probably get you that answer. I'm sorry, I don't have the fiscal year 25 in front of me right now
Yeah.
to, multiply that by 18 to make sure.
I just wanted to make sure I got that. So this 18% increase is largely due to the payouts for people on the plan trying to lose weight.
That is what that is one of the reasons as to why they're
But it's
saying
also diabetes, Drew.
it certainly is.
So at first it's diabetes.
Okay, but we've had
And then-
diabetes before,
Well, we have, but we might have more
but now we have weight loss.
on top of diabetes.
I just have some general comments, so. We had a 17% increase from 24 to 25, and this is 18, so it's a trend, it's not particularly great, but also. Full disclosure, my wife works in the school system and my family benefits from this plan. But I think trying to cut the amount we pay to employees, this is not the place to take it on our employees this town. I'm a police officer making $25 an hour full time. Is gonna lose almost a full paycheck to pay for his.
Well, we're not talking about cutting anything at this point,
I
JD.
understand that,
What we're talking about is trying to understand what the numbers are,
right,
so that in the end, okay, as an employee, you have a salary, you got a salary and you have a compensation package. What is that compensation? Because the compensation package is what the town pays. The town just doesn't pay for a salary. And we have to know that. That's very, very important on the personnel committee.
Yeah.
Right?
There's been no mention of it.
And if I could just clarify one, JD, your comment in regard to fiscal year 23 to 24. Some of these numbers fluctuate due to how many employees we have on the plan. And how many, if, you know, if we have 4,
so you guys
people
are
on-
audited to see what you actually expenditures were.
I'm sorry, was
You
that?
get audited basically by the.
We do.
insurance company. Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
company gets the same thing.
Yeah. So there's,
Is there any point, if there's a larger number of people who are on an insurance plan, are they likely to give you a better rate? For example, would it be worth merging with another town for insurance policies?
We're already through the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust that is.
Oh, that is.
it is.
It is a
And
community.
how many members?
Okay.
There has to be at least,
20
yeah, there's at least 20, 25, yeah.
I'd also like to say that insurance is up anyway, all insurance.
Correct.
Our household insurance has gone up an equivalent amount. So I think we're got to be in for this.
And I'd also like to say that we will see this in the frontier budget too.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. Really important to. It's not going away, and we'll have to deal with it. It's just that we need to know what that compensation package really is. And because often, you know, we'll get into discussions about, you know, the grass is a little greener on the other side of the fence. Okay, and I want some greener grass, so I might jump to that pasture. Well, maybe that pasture doesn't have the same compensation package. It might have a better salary to start with, but other things. So it's important that we understand so that we can
I
have that.
understand your point of view. I get what you're coming from. All I was trying to express is that, some people will take a job in the public sector when they can make more in the private sector. And they're working just for the insurance for their families. And that happens a lot.
Yep.
A lot.
Understand. Okay,
Okay, we can move
anything
on.
else on? Okay. Maybe,
IB3, please, Medicare and Social Security.
Yep.
Okay, so this increased about $2,000 from fiscal year 25 to 26. Employees contribute 1.45% of their biweekly paycheck to Medicare, and the town matches that percentage. Medicare helps contribute to fund Part A and B for retirees. So the way this is calculated is that I take the town's W-2 information from the previous calendar year. I add 3%, which is a potential COLA number. I can change that number to 1%, 0, whatever the COLA is. And then I multiply that by 1.45% for the town's contribution. And that's how I come up with my Medicare tax withholdings. And that is why you're seeing this from this number, which is from the W-2s from 2024.
and, Okay,
It's just they don't have any social security because the town's in pay.
We don't, so this, yes, the town doesn't pay social security, we have Obra instead.
Yeah.
So yes, that should probably be removed for next year. It's been there for years. Okay. We can move on to IV4, which is workers' compensation, which is a level funded budget. Thankfully, I don't think we had any workers' comp claims in fiscal year 24.
great.
Excellent.
If you're ready, IV5, which is
Yep.
life insurance. The town does pay 50% of life insurance premium. I kept it at the same 1,000. Life insurance per month is $7.10 per employee if they opt into it. So it costs us $3.55 per employee. You can keep going, IV6.
Okay.
Okay, is unemployment. This is also a level funded budget. We like to have about $10,000 of a cushion in that account, just in case we do have any unemployment claims that we need to pay.
Good.
We can also move on to IV8, which is injured on duty. This is also level funded. This number comes from Maya, our insurance carrier. Which there was no increase for fiscal year 26. IV9, which is other post-employment benefit trust. We have historically been contributing $25,000 per fiscal year to this account. I just continued with that trend for fiscal year 26.
Is that account adequately funded at this point?
With the conversations that I've had with our actuary, Jake Fountain, yes. I might get a second opinion on that, from conversations that we've had in regard to that account and wanting to bring it up to where it should be. Mostly when we have employees who are retiring, long before the age of 65. IV10, which is Medicaid assistance. This budget is also level funded. Medicaid is mass health. Some students receive special services based on their income level, and the town is required to pay a portion of those services. I did keep this at 1,500, which seems to, we do seem to be paying a lot less than that. But I did just keep what we did for fiscal year 20s.
All of these budgets that don't get expended, that money is reduced to free cash.
Yes, it
right?
does.
That's our large free
Yep.
cash. Sure.
The school board ought to be able to give you more insight to that, what the need is. 1,500.
I'm so, like, you mean like specifically what we're, so,
What the exposure might be.
yes, they could potentially give me a closer number than, yeah.
Okay.
And those are my fiscal year 26 budgets.
Okay. Thank you, Amy.
Nice job.
Okay, nice job. That's Amy. And that's it. Okay. All right, it's been a great meeting. No, not just yet. Okay. Time. Town clerk. Give us a number. Town clerk GG3.
As you
Go to your
can
tax.
see, where are we?
Thank you.
GG3.
Let's have one.
Six.
Tab number
Tab
6.
6, okay. Here we go. GG3, all right. Okay, town clerk, our town clerk this year is requesting 2026, $64,970. For a decrease
Good start.
of $6,694 and a decrease of 9.34%. That's why we have a great town clerk. Go ahead. Tell us.
There's not much to talk about. It's decreased from last year because I don't have the payroll.
Yeah.
And I don't have the election budget that I needed last year. And I have also found, so I am new to this role, and I also found that last year and the year before, a significant amount of money was rolled over into free cash at the end of the year.
Mhm.
And that doesn't make any sense to me, so. I looked at what I was actually expending. And I looked at what my plans are for FY 26, and this is the budget that I came up with.
Okay. So just, town clerk school,
Yes, so
$2,500. It
I,
shows no increase, but it shows nothing in the previous years.
correct, because town clerk school is A, not mandatory. B, it's not something that somebody would do every year. Lynn already had hers done, so that's it. She didn't have to go again. It is a 3-year program. You have to be a clerk for 2 years. And then for 1 week a year for 3 years, you go to the school. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And when you hit tier 3, then you are considered certified. And I have been in this role for almost 2 years, and I've decided that I really like it, and I would like to pursue my certification.
100%.
But it's business classes, it's the whole gamut of the clerk world.
Okay, great. Good.
Short
I-
money for that kind of education.
Yeah, so I actually am trying to pursue a scholarship to pay for it, but if I don't get the scholarship to pay for it, this is the amount that it is.
Fair enough. Any other questions regarding, or are there any questions regarding the town clerk budget as presented this evening?
Can we go to election? Just to understand why that's moving around the bubble.
Federal elections.
There's no national election. this
Presidential.
year.
So last year I had 4 elections, this year I have 1,
Yeah.
You have just one.
yes.
Yeah.
Last year was my first year as clerk and I had 4 elections. Got thrown into the fire, but this year we only have our local and that's it. There are some others, like elections within the state, but those are like mayoral races and things like that that don't affect the town greatly.
And you're open for a lot more early voting hours and stuff like that.
Yes,
A lot more of that.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job, Amy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Next, we shall go to. Who's here?
Either Brant or maybe Brant, yours is small.
Grant, are you quick?
Planning board,
Okay.
What number is that?
GG 14,
Say that again.
GG 14.
GG 14.
Very planning board.
Okay, we are here. Oh, planning board,
It's still the same bottom line, Pete, that I have, the 39,
right, 07.
39.
Yep.
So there are 2 main drivers for the planning board's budget. We have labor to pay a land use assistant to support the board and administrative work. Minutes, notices to abutters and various kinds of things that really would make the job burdensome for the citizen volunteers to serve on the board.
That's the clerk.
That would be the clerk. Correct. The problem we've had, we keep underrunning our annual budgets because we've been unable to retain a land use assistant. These are hourly positions, there are no benefits. We're selective and we've picked good people who we hire and they start, and then within a month they leave for something better. So that's like a personnel committee thing, but anyway.
Yeah.
So I keep throwing money at the end of the year back into free cash because I can't spend all of my assistant budget. And it's now this year, the current fiscal year, become a bit of a burden on other town staff to provide a little support to the planning board and also to the zoning board of appeals in absence of having a clerk. So, but in an ideal world, and this is a budget for such an ideal world where I have a clerk full time, there's a formula that I use. We meet about 14 times a year as a planning board, and there's a number of administrative hours that I would normally expect the clerk to perform related to each meeting. So that's how I compute an amount for personnel. Then we are legally obliged when we do zoning amendment proposals, we usually do 2 or 3 or 4 in a given year. We are obliged by law to hold public hearings and publish legal notices in a newspaper of record like the Greenfield Recorder. And those costs have been going up. It can cost us $600–700 to advertise a single public hearing in the Recorder. All right. So I've been budgeting for around 2 such public hearings in a given fiscal year, hence my general expenses budget. And then I threw in a little bit of training money because, as JD will attest, this board is virtually all made up of new people. And there are opportunities to do little bits of online training that have nominal registration fees to attend that. And that's it. So a very modest increase for FY 26, but again, the likelihood, whether I end up spending all of the personnel monies is anyone's guess.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. Do we have questions?
Yeah, is this, I understand you share a secretary with them,
The zoning board,
Zoning.
yes,
right?
and they would budget their own costs. Their costs, so we each have a budget item in our respective budgets for our shared clerk.
What are you paying per hour?
It's 21.16 is the current salary, and that was what I have for the next, for FY 26.
Yeah.
I'm on planning board and we've changed our forms to try to recoup as much on the applicant to cover our legal expenses and stuff.
Yeah.
But until the state lets us change the notification, having to publish things in the newspaper, it's gonna be burdensome and expensive. It'd be nice if we could, it's not even good to check the newspaper anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very expensive. I mean, as an applicant, $500–600 easily for multi ad. Yeah. Until they let us post it here on the bulletin board, on the website. And as far as all the card mail to them, until that happens, that costs.
And just to be clear, we do certain kinds of work on behalf of applicants. And when applicants come to the board for subdivision related or whatever, site reviews, they pay all the costs of public hearings. That's built into the system. That's not in our budget. However, when the board originates something, we have a zoning amendment, we've got some brainstorm, something new for the town. We have to pay for the public hearings. There's nobody else to bill for that.
Gotcha. Okay, right now, everything looks pretty straightforward.
All right,
Right, thank you very much.
been fun.
Great job, well done, again. Okay. All right. Okay. Well,
You're up, my friend.
extremely important. How you been?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Yeah. It's sort of fun every year to have like a dramatically different budget from the year before. I'm here to defend our request for a 538%, or 528%.
Hold on, let's get the increase. Where are we?
GG 16.
GG.
16, page 24.
Here we
What
go.
is it?
Conservation.
Conservation Commission, GG 16, page 24.
Is this the one in Ashfield? That the one?
It's the one that's based in Ashland.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, that's true. 527.73% increase. That's
Less than 2 years ago.
jaw drop. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, the primary, cost in our budget is for a new shared conservation agent, which is professional staff to the commission that is shared, by 4 other towns. So that's Ashfield, Buckland, Hawley, and Williamsburg. And so basically, over a period of a few years now, we've been meeting and coming up with a proposal, and we eventually got all 5 towns to commit to funding their share. And we hired a person that started in November, I believe, Kelly Cole. And 2 years ago, when it looked like it might happen, I had requested to put $10,000 in our budget so that we would be ready.
Right.
And then people looked at it at town meeting and went, what the heck, you know, our budget is usually $500.
Right.
So 10,000 was a lot more. And then last year, our budget was back down to like $500. A little bit more, but 1,500, and people said, why is the Conservation Commission getting cut so badly? And the answer is that when we finally got going on hiring the shared agent, town administrator in Ashfield, Paul, was able to get a grant, a state grant to cover the first year. So that covered a lot of startup costs, computers and other things like that. And so we really had we have no cost for the agent itself in the current fiscal year. But that's only for the first year. So now I need to put in the budget money for our share for year 2. And there's a little bit of that grant is still going to be available to defer to reduce the cost to us in 26, fiscal year 26. So
Is that already, is that already reflected in that number?
the reduction is already reflected in that number. That's what our request is almost $9,000 for our share of that cost. And that's not just salary, but that's all the other associated costs too, benefits and travel expenses and other things that are necessary to do the job.
Is it divided equally amongst all 5 towns?
It's divided proportionally by population.
Okay. Does that person have office hours in Whately or no?
There's no official office hours in Whately. There is a desk available for if she wants to work here in town. You know, she'll probably be mostly available through email and telephone.
So I take it the Conservation Commission is charged with conserving.
Well,
And
yeah,
I'm a little unclear about just how it goes about conserving our resources, right? And making sure we conform to state regulations and whatnot.
yeah. So Conservation Commission was created by the Conservation Commission Act to essentially to look after the town's natural resources, you know, in all the towns and cities in Massachusetts. So primarily for a while, that was like land acquisition or developing recreational opportunities like swimming opportunities, things like that. But in 1972, the Wetlands Protection Act decided that conservation commissions would be responsible for administering that state law. And so ever since then, that's primarily what we do.
Okay.
So in larger towns and cities, they have staff that do a lot of the technical work, and the conservation commissions do a lot more conservation. We do some cooperating with, so instead of doing land protection ourselves, we work with land trusts when there's opportunities to protect land. And so the Whately Center Woods property that Kestrel protected, about 125 acres, is a cooperative project that was done with the Conservation Commission. And Kestrel owns the property, and we have a conservation restriction that the town holds, Conservation Commission holds as part of that.
Okay, yeah, I think. Thanks, Scott. Conservation commissions, we're fortunate to have Scott Jackson.
Oh, we are, I
An
totally
expert
agree.
in the field.
Oh,
We're
If you
fortunate to
see
have-
why this number's gone up, because Scott has been doing the work
He's been doing all the technical work for all
for
these
many years. That has saved us all
And
this money
We're
every year.
grateful for that, but the Conservation Commission needs this technical assistance. Without Scott, we're lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so now we've got staff or this person to do it, but yeah, this Scott was saving us all this money every single year.
Grant?
By
At
doing
the,
this as
at
a
the risk
volunteer.
of, at the risk of committing a pun and muddying the waters here, I just want to, add that one of the new bylaw proposals that the planning board is bringing forward at town meeting is our new floodplain overlay district bylaw, which is required by state law, so we can be part of the National Flood Insurance Program. And in that new bylaw, there's a negotiated carve out for a role for the Conservation Commission. So that's not just their work in related to the Wetlands Protection Act, but when it comes to evaluating development in the floodplain, the regulated floodplain zones in Whately, the Conservation Commission and this conservation agent will have a role in evaluating those developments.
Good. Okay,
Well, one other thing I just want to mention is that Whately is exceptional in that over the last 41 years, it's had 2 chairs of the Conservation Commission. Jim Ross served for 21 years as the chair, and now this is my 20th year. Most of the time, it's like 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
And that kind of turnover is because of the demands of the responsibilities of doing the job. And it also makes it really hard for, the residents and for businesses to know predictably what's going to happen. And so it really, for me, it felt like this is a necessary thing, getting some help, some professional staff to make sure that when I'm finished here, that there will be somebody willing to step up and take this role, and hopefully somebody that'll stick around for a while until they really learn the job.
but 2035 is a way off.
Well, I hope whoever it is, half is good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate your support. It was a pleasure to make the request and have a receptive audience for that. It's also been nice to see that the town meeting supported it as well. And we will continue to do as good a job as we can.
Good job, Scott.
I think there's a real pride in this town about having those kind of assets that you protect, that we protect, and we make sure that they continue to be protected. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we shall move to animal control. Because the Board of Assessors is,
I'm happy to handle all of the rest of them if you want.
okay, then you just tell us where you want to go.
Let's we'll start from the top of the list then. Ag Commission, GG 18. This is a level 1 request. The Ag Commission, also similar to the Planning Board and Zoning Board, does have a clerk that was budgeted for in this current fiscal year. We have hired that person. And like all the other salaries, we're keeping that level for right now. The only thing that they have a budget for continuing is the right to farm signs, and they're keeping that request at $1,000. There's no other changes.
Where do those signs go? And you,
Good question. I don't.
never mind.
I
It's
believe
not-
that they're
not
used
critical.
on the entry to the community
Yeah.
for,
Typically.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and most likely on the local roads, because we would have to get approval on the state roads, but we had generally had insurance.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, next.
We'll go to, let's stay in the Gs.
Okay.
We're gonna do the Board of Assessors, which is GG 10. At the bottom, it does show an increase of 9.4%. We'll skip the salary, the personnel section, so the only changes here really are, last year. We had budgeted $350 for professional development. Our professional staff is not town staff, therefore we should not be paying for their professional development, so we zeroed that out. There was a slight increase in requests for the office supplies, $10. Reducing the printing and copying because all our printing and copying are handled through our town building operations, so we moved them out of the departments into one line item. There is a decrease shown here for the software fees. This is their CAMA software, but you can see it's then offset by the property revaluation and utilities valuation. So although those are being captured down below, there is a reduction on the software side, but there is the service side. And for some reason, I couldn't tell you what happened last year. Mayflower was not budgeted at all, even though it historically had been budgeted. So this is correcting that budgeting process that happened last year.
What's the next revamp? Well, you know, I'm just so hungry.
Next one.
I believe we can.
No, at least another year out.
It's every five.
Every five.
It's every five, and I think
Okay.
I think
about
mine
a
was
year or two ago.
2 years ago.
All right. Very good. Any questions regarding Board of Assessors? Is that done? Are you done with Board of Assessors? Peter?
What's the utilities valuation for 3K?
Good question.
Duly noted, sir.
I can have the Board of Assessors explain, let's see, the utilities.
Fred
valuation.
Olofsky still?
Yes,
Is it my understanding that we share a town assessor with other towns now?
it's not really a shared service, so it's not a shared employee. We instead hire RRG, Rural Resource Group, and they provide us a staff member. It's not a shared where similar to Ashfield where we have a shared agreement with the different towns. This is we're contracting with a company and that company happens to also be hired by other towns as well.
And that Mayflower expense is just, excuse me, that's a software that's just tracked.
And
So it's an
software and
annual
service.
fee?
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
So nothing's being really done with it yet. If the evaluation's every 5 years, it's loading data.
I believe it's. That I don't know. It's a good question.
Just wondered how it is utilized.
Yeah, I can ask them to provide more information on Mayflower.
Good question, Mark.
Oh, put a question. Oh, I thought you said good question.
That's what I.
No, I would have said, good question, Jerry.
That's what I would hope by this point.
Thank you. All right, good pickup. All right,
Do you want me to go to? We'll go to zoning board, GG 15. It's very fast. This is a less than 1% increase.
certainly is.
Similar to the planning board, they also have that clerk. The clerk we hired provides service to both those two land use boards. And then the only modifications to the general expenses was to increase the advertising. They also have to run legal ads. But they decreased the postage because our postage is covered in our town operating budget, so it offsets it. So it's really just a $25 increase in their operating budget.
Is there anything we can do with our representatives to kind of change the rules? Things in the newspaper.
Oh, yeah, I mean, every community's been pushing for that.
Okay, because that's the state.
Talk to the newspaper lobby though,
Right.
Yeah, really.
like the Globe. We'll move on, but yes. So yes, that is. But yeah, so any questions on this one?
All set,
Let's
go.
do finance committee.
Okay. Number.
It's GG 17. Level funded requests. All it is the same amount for your dues and meetings, as, finance board members you get. We register you. And so it's about $150 every year. That's your
So
only
we're all
cost,
registered.
Registered with the state.
the state. And now the last one is animal control and inspection, and that is in tab 9. We're gonna be looking at PS4 and PS5. This past year, we shifted our animal control and our animal inspection. We used to have a stipend positions, Rick Adamczyk. However, he retired, and so what we did is we were able to join the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Animal Control, Regional Animal Control Program, which means we get all animal control services handled by the Sheriff's Office now. It does not cover animal inspection at this time. We are one of, I believe, about 10 communities that are in that program. And so similar to other programs, it is an annual assessment. And the assessment for this next year is $5,300. What we did last year is we used the appropriations from animal control officer and animal inspection to cover our animal program last year or this current year. Now we need to actually fund the program correctly in animal control, so that's why you see a sizable increase from 700 to 5,300. And then the only other thing is the regional kennel fee. Anytime that we have to have a dog kenneled, because they're taken in, we have to pay a kenneling fee. Generally, it's only happened a few times, but we did appropriate $700 last year. I wanted to just keep that. We do not need to cover costs for like the regular kennel fees, any of the animal removal, veterinary fees, equipment, because that's all covered in our program. So that's why all of those were reduced to zeros. So it's really just the regional fee, kennel fee, and the dues and meeting or the program itself.
We had a very large kennel fee from the.
This year, yeah.
That was separate.
Or is that?
That's separate.
That's separate.
That was a one-off, yeah.
That was that one dog.
So we don't have to budget for that all that.
It's like $6,000.
That was not just kenneling fees, though. That was legal fees and the end process. Yeah. Any questions on PS4? Lastly, PS5, animal inspection. This one we're suggesting level funding. The animal inspector is a stipend position. They primarily handle our barn inspections during the fall, as well as anytime there is a rabies quarantining need. They work with the ACO, the animal control officer, and the police department and Mass Department of Agricultural Resources when there are quarantine or rabies possible issues. We also provide for mileage reimbursement, so we just kept that at the level amount as well.
Okay. Any questions about the animal
Animal
inspection?
inspector, a town employee,
Yes, the animal inspector is a town employee, a stipend,
non-benefited.
non-benefited.
Okay.
Correct.
Who is it?
Storm McQueen. We just hired her 2 weeks
Last
ago,
meeting.
last
Yeah.
meeting, yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. Get somebody new. That's good. All right,
That's all done for today, yeah.
okay.
So, excuse me,
Go
can I
ahead.
just ask one question about the animal control officer?
No, we don't go back.
You don't.
I can see that up on the picture.
And in conclusion. Go ahead.
So who does somebody call if they want to get in touch?
We have, information on the website, it's the sheriff's office.
Oh,
Specifically their regional.
in the Franklin County Sheriff?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, And
Sorry.
they have multiple staff members, so it's not just one staff. They actually just recently over the summer hired 2 more full-time control officers.
The Showman control, they would relay them to their interface later.
Most likely, yes, yep.
Very good. Any further questions? Animal control, animal inspection.
Sorry.
Town clerk.
Can I go back to agricultural?
I've been watching All Creatures Great and Small. Good, it's a great program. You know, they do a lot of inspection. I'm wondering about barn inspection. What's entailed in barn? You mentioned barn inspection in front of the trees.
Basically, my understanding is the inspection, they look at the state of the barn, the treatment of the animal. They look at the health of the animal as well to make sure that essentially that the animals that are in that barn are treated, mainly that they're in a proper space, cleanliness.
Yeah, food, water,
Yep.
accessible, obviously.
That goes for all animals like cows, and goats,
Any barn, yeah.
barns.
So how often did they inspect those?
For
They have been, they have, sorry, what?
For just $1,200, they do all that?
And the quarantine, but we only have a certain number of barns that are used for animal sheltering, but they do that in the fall, and then all of those have to be reported to the state.
The $1,200 covers all.
It covers their time, yeah. Yeah, I believe if you look at animal inspection. Look at 2024, it was very underfunded. In 2025, there was an acknowledgement that Rick was doing a significant amount of work for very little stipend, and so that stipend did get increased. Not to say that it shouldn't necessarily, we'll have that conversation
Downstream.
downstream.
Okay. Any further questions? No? All right, we gotta roll the meeting back a little bit. We got 2 more items. First being the
The select board can close their meeting.
Yeah, move to close the select board meeting.
Okay, I take a motion from you, Fred. Was that a
I think
motion?
you need to- Yeah, that was a motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor by roll call, Fred,
Aye.
Joyce, aye. Our select board meeting is closed.
We'll see the 2 of you in 2 weeks. Here again.
2 weeks here again. All right, so that we might be able to close our meeting. Let's get to the, first of all, the minutes from January 21st, 2025. I hope everyone's had a chance to
I
read
just
them.
wanna note, there is,
Yes.
something, so number 7 where I adjourned, I did include Dan in the roll call vote. I will change that because he was not there
Okay,
at that meeting,
okay,
so I will change that.
okay,
So I just wanted to make that everybody aware.
all right. Do I have a motion to,
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of the Finance Committee, January 21st, 2025, subject to the amendment. Noted by Jess.
Second.
we have a second? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Paul? Paul?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Yes. Dan?
Sustained, wasn't there.
Yes?
He wasn't there.
He's
Wasn't
abstaining.
there.
You can't.
He wasn't.
He wasn't
Abstain.
there.
Oh, that's right, you weren't there, we took you out. Okay, but stay there for a second, because now I'm going to ask for, we have to review, discuss the revised fraud policy. Everyone have that in front of them? Everyone have a chance to take a look at it,
I wanna, if you don't mind,
please?
I wanna clarify or correct what I said last time. The reason why this policy is brought forward is when we were doing the audit last year, we have to submit what policies that we have on the books when it comes to the handling of our fees and our accounts. And it was through that audit that it was identified that we did not have a fraud policy, and it's a best practice to have a fraud policy. This fraud policy was brought to us by the town accountant, and it's the fraud policy that is used by the town of Shelburne. So that's where it actually came from.
And all the red lines.
The red lines are the edits that you guys
Yeah, that's
suggested last.
from last meeting.
Yep.
So they're in, and,
Could we go to the last page, select board shall discuss financial statements and audits on a quarterly basis? I think that's good. But shouldn't somebody from the finance committee also be part of that discussion? Or should the finance committee be part of that quarterly review of how the town's finances are progressing?
Or preferably a member, not
member,
the entire board.
yes. So
Do you think?
what do you think? We'll throw it out there. You good with it? Everybody good with it? Paul? Everyone, are we good? Jan?
Good with it.
Okay,
So that was to
Okay, so-
add a member of the finance committee to that bullet?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, do we need to vote that? No. Okay. All righty, so that's it, so we'll have another change. We'll see the new fraud policy on the next meeting. Thank you, Jerry.
Or you could agree to it with the edit.
Why
Just,
why
yeah,
don't
let's
we-
do that.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, that'll save it.
Let's do that. That'll save-
It'll save a lot of paper.
It'll save us a day and a half. Okay, excellent.
Good.
So we will vote the fraud policy, okay?
Make a motion.
What's that?
Motion.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to do it.
Okay. All right, let's go around table again.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yes,
Okay, good. All right, that's done. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Hold on.
I have something, on our planning board, which I'm a member of. And before we adjourn, we just go over what other boards members are on, and if it's anything, bring to us as the representative. For instance, Grant is the planning board's rep to the housing committee.
Right, we had
So-
discussed this last time, and we do have that as agenda for non-joint meetings, but we could still do liaison updates if you want to.
So that we know, like, if
Yeah.
you happen to sit on another board as a member of the finance committee, what's going on with that board, so the rest of us know what's going on. That was the whole point, but
Can you create a chart that show that?
The only representation that exists is you're on the personnel committee, and then, Dan serves on capital improvement. That's it.
We need a chart.
so anything going on the personnel committee?
Would you like a pie chart or your bar graph?
I think I can hold both of those.
Is there anything going on with the personnel committee? that we know about?
Haven't met, other than we had one
That's all.
job description.
So I can answer that question.
Okay,
Yes.
So we will have a meeting coming up shortly because the compensation and classification study plan should be ready next week. Or at least a draft. I'll be bringing that to the personnel committee to review that. We also have a couple of requests to modify the personnel policy for some minor tweaks. And then we also will be reviewing an update to the highway and building superintendent job description so that we can then post for Keith Sophie.
Great. Just as an FYI. The superintendent of schools reached out to me and asked if I could come over to have a meeting with himself and the business manager concerning the budget for the Whately Elementary School, which I'm going to do tomorrow at 10 a.m. And Paul Newland's going to accompany me to that meeting. And apparently it's a pretty hefty increase. And they're not 100% sure which way they're gonna go with it. But we're gonna take a look and see what it looks like and what the impact to us might be. So we'll have that kind of information for by the 18th, which is our next meeting. FYI, everybody in the loop. You don't,
Is there any update from capital approval?
Yeah, I can speak for, because Dan wasn't able to be there, but we did yesterday. Vote on the capital projects that were requested. And there is one last minute one that came in today, so we'll redo that meeting next week, but we have a number of projects that are moving forward or being brought to you for the capital, which I believe is our March 4th meeting that we would look at. Projects.
JR, is there anything you want to pass on about the planning committee?
Well, I'm a member of the planning.
Yes,
board.
I know.
Yes, but I'm not as a representative of
Oh,
the finance committee.
Because finance committee had no say.
No, we
or
don't have
oversight.
any say in
I'm just
that.
wondering what we're doing
Just
right
out
now.
of curiosity.
We are working on a proposed use for DMTC for processing marijuana products, small batch. Just a thing for that. We're dealing with new ADU regulations just came out to make sure that we have a add to our bylaws that what we have conforms to state law.
Whately.
Yeah, which is required by state law. Working on that, we'll probably do it next week.
What about the exit 35?
No. The
So
new
that-
woman just got hired. Right, Erica?
Erica, but that's because I've requested DLTA funding to help get a consultant to help write that zoning bylaw.
There wasn't anything in the budget. I noticed.
No.
Did we vote
did we?
To adjourn?
to adjourn?
Okay,
I
let's,
move we vote to adjourn.
so we have a motion, we got a second, let's vote. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Dan.